Welcome back to
Hola.
that same old place. Is that the song?
Yeah, that's new. That's brand new. Mickey.
I don't want to get demonetized, though. I won't sing too much of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You were right on key too. So
You're gonna get NTF,
you're flirting with disaster.
NFT. Yeah.
It's over.
Hello and welcome to episode 40 of Carvers and Creators, a weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists. We humbly ask that you please consider giving us a like and a follow on the platform that you're watching us on. And please let us know in the comments where you're watching from and if you have any questions for the carvers and our special guest. My name is Michael Mondragon. I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time. Let's meet the carvers. First, he is an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He's the 2019 champion of Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkins. Paul Dever, welcome.
Hey, happy Thursday, everybody.
Paulie.
Hey,
Nice.
yo, what's happening?
Next, he is a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on the Food Network. Matt Harper, welcome.
God bless us all.
And our guest today is an artist and sculptor who makes weird and wonderful things out of wire and pumpkin from Portland, Oregon. Please welcome the multi-talented Joey Edwards.
Oh,
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you
Joe.
so much for joining us. So
Hell
let's
yeah.
revisit. We actually took last week off because Paul was on vacation. But this was the befuddled zombie from 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so we actually did this, and then Paul had to jet, right? And he was going to go out to Arizona.
Yeah, I had to call it quits because we had an early flight in the morning to head out to the other coast,
The right coast.
which isn't really the coast, I suppose, but to me, it's about as far away as I've been from my hometown.
Yeah. So
that came
what?
out great now.
Yeah, I love this. I like the knocked out tooth as well.
I like
Yeah,
the
it was-
cartoony expression in the eyes.
He's a zombie and he's befuddled. So it just the fun part with that one is whenever you do a zombie, you can make all kinds of mistakes because there's no such thing as a real zombie. So you might as well you make up whatever the hell you want when it comes to their skin or their teeth falling out or wrinkles or scars or whatever.
I find that very offensive as being a zombie. No,
So yeah, rightfully so. Again,
that's
of course.
one of the best parts about making monsters is there's no
Yeah.
limit. You just
There's no rules.
follow,
yeah.
follow
There's
your
no
monster heart.
rules, no limit. Exactly. Exactly.
Oh,
None
that's cool.
whatsoever. So this
Yeah,
was
I had
Paul's.
I
Go
had to
ahead.
abandon it. I wasn't even close. Like, see all the tool marks? I was still kind of roughing stuff out. I had started to punch through in the corners. It did the
Yeah,
trick. I had to
honestly,
get up.
For the hour and a half you put into this, Paul, this thing is badass. You can see exactly the direction you're going. So I'm loving the guy.
Yeah,
Oh, thanks, pal.
it's very,
Yeah, the
very
teeth and jaw,
corpse-like.
that's outstanding. That's good.
Yeah, and this was Ron Freeze.
at
He did
that.
it out of clay. I mean, like, killed it.
Cool.
It's cool.
Thank God I get to have that when it's done.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think so. It's already. I already have it. He fired it and glazed
Oh, it's already done. It's already in your
It's
house.
already on the way to my house.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
Those lips.
so we have done this show for 40 weeks now. Not consecutive, but 40 weeks. But I want to acknowledge something that has never happened in the entire time we have done the show. That's right, everyone. I got a haircut.
There you go.
It looks fantastic too.
I'm kidding, actually, but that's actually true. But there's something actually that happened that was actually bigger than my haircut, which was for the first time, Matt and Paul actually met for the first time in person.
What?
So that's pretty awesome.
And
So-
if you notice, he's drinking an East Coast beer and I'm drinking an Arizona beer.
Yeah.
We kept the tradition alive.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
That's right.
That, hey,
And what
all
you
in
don't
the eye.
notice is that one little backstory too to this picture. My college freshman daughter was mother henning us at about 1:45 in the morning in this picture, telling us, "No, you don't need another one, Dad." And thank God we weren't driving anywhere because that was a long night.
You know what though? I think everybody in that house missed out on a great performance if we had set up your drum kit, which we were talking about doing.
Yes, we did make it to the garage and we were playing with the drums and the cymbals, and I've had a couple, but I'm like, hey, listen to the tone on this one, and my daughter's rooms are directly above the garage, so they were I don't know 2 a.m. They were pretty happy to be hearing cymbals at least.
As we say back home, we were kicking it.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks again to you and yours for hosting us. Great family.
Anytime.
Awesome
It was a
family.
blast.
Love you guys.
Well, I'm looking forward to the time when all three of us can be in the same room, and it will happen. I make sure of it. I was actually working with doctors over borders, and doing some humanitarian work with refugees that weekend.
Nice
so I couldn't make it out. Yeah. So
nice. How long did it take you to figure out that excuse so I couldn't say anything to you? Way to steal my thunder, Mondragon.
I figured I was going to get a ribbon anyway, so it didn't matter.
Oh yeah, Irish Alzheimer's all day.
Yes.
Never forget it.
But it will happen. I promise you that.
Oh, I know.
Well, Joey, I want to introduce you to the fourth member of Carvers and Creators. It is the Hollow Wheel, the Sinner Spinner. And Paul has it right there. He spins it every week, and it will determine what we are carving today. So let me solo in on Paul here.
Ladies and
There
gentlemen.
he is.
Okay, so for those that are familiar with it, this is our wheel. For those that aren't, it's still a wheel. The first spin is going to be the character for the evening. So start getting your tools together and your vegetable of choice. And so we're going to spin. We're going to know who we're going to carve and what the emotion is will be in the second spin. Pretty cut and dry. We have replaced befuddled because...
Thank you, God.
How many times can you do befuddled? Honestly, I got to stop putting pennies on the back of the wheel to make sure it lands where I need it to. I gotta YouTube how to fix like a roulette wheel.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's see. What do I not want it to land on so that it lands on it? That's really going to think up here. So,
hey, put that out of your mind.
Skull.
Ooh. Okay.
Okie dokie. Okay. Have we done a skull?
No, we haven't.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm all right.
This is going to be an interesting one because again, we're going to have to put an
emotion.
So we're going to have to, it's going to be like a pliable skull.
Okay.
A crazy skull. It landed on skull.
Oh, you put weights on that one for sure.
Wheel is fixed. You guys don't understand. I got to live with this thing. It's like haunted.
It does not like you.
It takes my guts. It really does.
A crazy skull. Thank you, Wheel, for effing us up.
And I have the most unskull-shaped. Maybe I guess that's kind of skullish.
He can be crazy. Yeah, I got a giant banana one here, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I might go kabocha squash on that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right on. And Joey, what are you going to be working on today? Are you going to be working on something else?
I am. I did not prepare for Crazy Skull. Not that I could have, but I'm going to be working on the Gizmo, the Mogwai. Let's see. Yeah, I started this on Twitch on Tuesday night, and I got pretty far on it. So figure I'll work on that just a little bit and chip away. See how that goes.
Oh God,
that's badass, man.
It's kind of already there. I mean, I don't know. It looks like you're done, but
oh no, there's plenty more to do.
Yeah, a little more to do.
I mean, if you had told me beforehand, I could have put a Mogwai on the board, and you would have looked like a genius. Like
this would have taken no time at all. Yeah.
Gotta make sure you
have a budget.
So we're going to give you out there 5 minutes to grab your tools, pumpkin, squash, or any other perishable item. While we do that, we're going to do our traditional toast at the beginning of our show. And so, Joey, as your guest, what are you drinking tonight?
Yes, tonight I have a fine little large. It's looks like it's a nice Pilsner.
Okay.
Neat looking can with some trees on it. Very Pacific Northwest. So
Nice.
Yeah. Portland's got so many amazing breweries, and oh my god, yeah.
My
You will
belly, like it's grown with all the love for all of it since I've been up here.
Same here.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
I remember when they had the rhyme of the quarantine 15. Now it's like the quarantine 38 and a half. Like,
Yeah.
that's my waist size. It feels like now.
Paul, what do you got?
Oh, okay. So Mickey, you're gonna love this one. I found this one the other day. So this is called Johnny Hammer Time. It's a triple New England IPA. Hold on, let me get focus. All
There you
right.
go.
Oh, nice.
From Mighty Squirrel. And
Triple.
a triple, yeah. It's 9.7.
I can kind of smell it from here.
Yeah. When you put it
Honestly,
I could.
My hand is numb from
Yeah.
My teeth hurt. I don't know why.
Right. So if I start slurring my words 2 sips in, you know why.
Yeah.
Just start
Yeah.
fighting. Like,
Yeah, come on.
And another thing.
I'll message you in the private chat that, less belligerence, please.
Yeah. Right. Tonight's vulgarity is brought to you by Johnny Hammer Time.
that was crazy.
Mickey, I got when Paul was out here, I supplied him with these sand cans. So I got
Oh, yes.
Good.
Devil's
I
Ale,
got a
nice.
couple left. American Pale Ale. So I don't think it's as pale ale-y, IPA-ish as a regular pale ale. But I have a backup just in case a lager, a Longfin Ballast Point lager, in case this one sucks. And Joey, just so you know, I'm a newbie at IPAs, and I've typically hated them all. But there's been a few now because of these guys that I actually like. So the one you gave me, Paul, not to die. What was that? The Cloud.
That was also from Mighty Squirrel. This is like a Mighty Squirrel at friggin' ad. Mighty Squirrel is in Waltham, Massachusetts, and you had Cloud Candy, which is
Cloud
unbelievably
yes.
good.
The best IPA I've ever had. It was out of this world. So
Whoa.
since I can't have that, I will indulge in this and hope it's as good.
Well, my friend, I'm telling you right now, New England IPAs all taste similar to that.
Yeah,
The hazy New Englands are really good.
Mickey, what are you chugging?
Yeah,
today?
Mick.
Well, Paul actually sent a picture that he really liked the 805 from Firestone Walker. So this beer is very reminiscent of that. This is the
nice.
Ventura Light from Made West Brewing in Ventura, California. Domestic lager. It's super, super clean and really good. And it's like drinking. Look at that. Look how clear that
Oh,
is.
so light and clear, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a pee test right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
This one would fail, but it's good to drink though.
Yeah.
Wow, look
As
at
long as
that! You
it's
can
cool.
almost like see right through it. It's
I hope
wonderful.
that wasn't the color of the well you were digging for the pygmies that prevented you from coming to
Yeah.
visit us.
Charity work is my game, and
Yeah.
I'm very dedicated to it.
That's all you know.
It's all I know. Yeah. So cheers. Thank you everyone for joining tonight.
Good.
This is not clear. Oh, Lord.
No, that is
You
murky.
can stand a fork up in that thing.
Wow. It's good. It's definitely a triple.
That's pretty good. Well, I'll be damned.
So Joey, you run your own. You run on Twitch, correct?
Yeah.
Is it Twitch, and then you put it on YouTube later, right?
Yep. I upload. I need to be more consistent with it, but yeah, like a lot of the stuff I do on Twitch, I just kind of port it right over to YouTube as well. So.
Wow.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing it?
So I've been streaming pumpkin carving and other various forms of artwork on Twitch in earnest for almost a year now. I think it'll be, well, I guess, no, just about a year. Because I started at the end of April, so just about a year. And then I, over the summer, I became affiliate, which just means you meet certain requirements and I can start earning a little bit of passive income doing Twitch.
Oh, right on.
I'm
at that.
a couple months away from that, from having a year of affiliate status. But I had originally started on Twitch maybe 2 years ago, and time's a mystery now. But 2018 in the summer, I did a bunch of wire work on Twitch, and then I converted that into pumpkin carving, and then kind of let it go for a little while. And then when the pandemic hit, just like everybody else, you needed to find a way to keep doing you and making the things. And I had some great friends who were all on Twitch. Sky, one of them, and he helped me kind of get my stuff together. And I just went on as hard as I could, and I've been kind of just doing my best to make little differences, little changes and improvements. And every pumpkin I carve on there just adds to the studio and growing, getting weirder and spookier and kookier. So.
No, it's great. I love your. It looks like a studio set, like a stage behind you.
Oh yeah, this is all
hell of a setup.
All a bunch of weird stuff, like the little light box in the back here. That actually has like this LED strip in it, designed by this artist that is a supporter of mine. He's bought a number of pumpkins from me. His name's Designs by Perry. He is a special effects engineer from Southern California. He's really awesome guy. He's done some amazing work. He's worked on like Marshmallow's helmets and like Deadmau5's helmets and stuff like that. But I did a trade with him where I made him a pumpkin, and he gave me some lights I can put inside some pumpkins with the idea that they would react to sound and like change the way that like light interacted with the inside of a pumpkin. And I haven't followed through with that idea yet, but it did make this sweet backdrop thing that every time I go, it like responds to me and like lights up these extra.
Oh wow, that's killer.
I gotta do that again.
I thought it was a lightning
like
that's cool.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why don't I have cool shit like that?
Yeah.
Paul, come on.
I mean, stuff. 2 sips in, I dropped the mess. Whoops.
No longer a kid's show.
Yeah.
Yes. Wow. Look at those. Look at that Lost Boys one.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Those are amazing.
That was from the Lost Boy one. Was like from the first year that I really just stuck to carving like doing pumpkins not in stencil work, but like learning how to shape out light and like draw in reverse and all that kind of stuff. Like that.
Well, let me ask you, Joey, because I'm enamored with the etching. I've never tried it, and I don't think I ever will because there's people who are so good at it. You know, you, Mark Maniac, all these guys that are just like
Chris,
over the top. Chris, I mean, these guys. Anyway, I'm like blown away by this, and the photorealism is just mind-boggling. But then to put the light and to know there's depth and all that stuff in there. But I just want to know how you got started. Did you do this? Did you do like what is it? The black? What's that etching? What are those things called?
The blackboard,
scratchboard.
scratchboard.
Did you do a lot of that?
Yeah, scratchboard. I did mess around with scratchboard a little bit in high school, not very much, but I'd always been in love with Halloween since I was a wee little kid. And honestly, like my love for portraiture and pumpkin carving, a lot of it came from watching Roseanne growing up and watching the Halloween episodes, where every Halloween episodes they did really cool portraits and like different things with whether it was stencils or kind of surface work, like the kind of stuff that I do now, and just seeing like them come alive and seeing what's possible in a pumpkin and getting really excited about that. And
Roseanne's probably watching.
I did a lot of artwork.
So,
Yeah.
Hey, Roseanne, since you're watching, go ahead and commission him. Joey will do a full.
I got you. But yeah, I had for many years, I'd always made a whole bunch of patterns ahead of time, just doing stencil work and trying to whatever I was into at the time, whether it was music, or a lot of Nine Inch Nails pumpkins have come out of this, various movies and stuff that I was really into, things I thought would make a good pumpkin. I would design pumpkin carvings all year, and then when Halloween came around, I'd actually get to carve pumpkins and make these stencils, and that was great. But you put a lot of effort, and seeing your work just rot real quick. In some ways, it's kind of like mandala. You put all this effort into it, and then it just wastes away and goes away real quick.
Yeah,
so you can capture it in like a photograph, but it's gone. But a couple of years back, I discovered an evolution in Halloween science, and now they make foam pumpkins that can last forever. And so I learned how to carve on those. And at first, I was just carving the Michaels brand craft foam pumpkins, and I was making my own stencils. And I figured out how to just put my all into it, and made an art show dedicated to those. And that was fun. But then I started seeing a lot of my designs. Like I would spend weeks and weeks and weeks coming up with these graphic image designs, and then so that would be like the art form of it. But then when you go to actually carve it, you can kind of just zone out, watch a movie, listen to a podcast, and you don't even really think. You just kind of commit to carving the stencil, and you learn the little tips and tricks that make carving like a detailed stencil easier by like starting and cutting out things in tiny little sections, or working your way from the middle and like fanning outward as you knock out these designs. But you don't have to think too much with that that type of brain thinking, like during the actual carve process. So like all of the energy of being creative was in the design process. And so that's what I really loved about it. And then I started seeing my designs pop up on other people's websites and other people's Instagram and just having a lot of stuff being ripped off. It's fine. It happens. But rather than get all mad about it, I just decided to try something new. And so I started teaching myself how to do the shading work. And then my first one I did was this random picture off of this lady I found on Reddit who was just coming out of some water. It was just her face with like water up to her neck. And I attempted that, and I was carving all the way through, and just I did what I could on it. But then there was this one part of it. It was her lips. I just manipulated the pumpkin enough to take out just the right amount of material out of the pumpkin, and all of a sudden it just tricked my brain into seeing something that wasn't even there anymore. And it was like, oh wow, that is cool. What? That's a thing you could do. Just put in enough detail so your brain makes up the rest of the image. And so that just like I wanted to keep doing it. And so the next year I started trying to emulate it in foam pumpkins with using a Dremel. And carving on a foam pumpkin is similar to carving on a real pumpkin in some ways, but it's also a lot more pain in the ass. It depends. It's a lot more messy, a lot dustier. But yeah, I don't know. Every year I just keep trying to do more and more.
Do you wear a respirator or anything? Because I know you do.
I wear a mask. When it gets real messy, I'll just like kind of like this normal kind of masks that people wear like outside during COVID, that kind of thing, like the N95s.
I love how you just called it.
I typically wear like a jumpsuit almost, like when I'm carving to keep all the crap up off me.
A Tyvek suit. I love how you just called a mask normal. You know, the normal mask, the kind you wear outside.
Normal mask.
The new normal.
Nothing's normal about it. Yeah.
Oh, I got my second shot yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have an extra finger this morning. It's weird.
That is weird.
Genetically altered.
Can you see into the future like I can now?
Yes. I will be drunk by the end of this beer.
I can only see like a minute into the future, but I can now see into the Sorry.
Do you think there's that's amazing.
Wow.
Is there a way that you could sculpt with these, do you think, Joe?
I think I could try it. I don't know, but that's the thing is like you guys impress me so much with the caliber of your work, and like you and Ray and all of you crazy artists out there that can just do this magic with the surface work on the pumpkins. I tried to last year, and I don't know, like I'm getting it. It's like baby steps, but
I'm pretty sure you could.
I'm sure you could, but I don't know enough about how you guys are doing the magic that you do to know if this would translate as well. I can say that I haven't seen a lot of people sculpt on a foam pumpkin in the style that you guys are carving though. I don't see why.
How thick are they? I mean, before you pop through,
that's a good question.
Are you dealing with
it kind of varies. So I've been carving consistently on Funkin pumpkins. I like them because they're a little bit thicker. They're about twice as thick as a Michael's brand craft foam pumpkin. Okay. And that just means that it gives you more gray. So the thicker the pumpkin is, the more light it's going to be held back. And so you're just carving, the deeper you go, the lighter it gets. So the greater width you can work with in there is going to allow you to get those deep grays or whatever. So so the larger pumpkins like that one, those ones are thicker than some of the smaller ones. There's like so many different types of pumpkin models, and they all vary in the thickness. They all have their own little bells and quirks. It's kind of weird.
Wow, I'm staring at this, and I'm looking at the tube rockets and the blast coming out of the tube rockets. So that's the deepest cut, right?
Yeah. Do you guys? I actually have this one right here if you want to check it out.
Because it's so 3D, it looks like that, like the top of the back of the space shuttle is coming at me, but that's carved in. That's pulled into it, right?
Yeah, it's let's see.
It's like your eyes so tricked by it.
Let's see if I can get over to my sweet carve station. Hello. Got all my things here. Let's see. So right here with so that pumpkin. He's a big boy. He's a big boy.
Oh, that is big. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Why this isn't getting in focus? Come on, focus.
There we go. Okay.
So, wow. So you can see like
oh my god,
like a little bit of depth to it. As you're going in, you're just kind of shaving out just different depths, and the deeper you go, the more light's going to come out. But let's get some lighting here. I think
my God, I would never expected that.
Yeah, it looks like nothing with the lights on.
I know, it's weird. That's why I started to paint my pumpkins too, so they look all rotten. At least have some kind of artistic value, like in the light still. But,
oh my God, I am blown away. Yeah. Oh dear God. Okay. What the hell?
And so you can just get in there pretty close. Oh, here, tell you what. Let me adjust the light in here a little bit. I have my handy little streaming deck thing that allows me to toggle with various bells and whistles while I'm working.
You're from the future. Joey's from the future. He is not. Yeah.
But yeah. So our
wow.
Just a whole bunch of tedium.
Wow. Okay,
That's amazing.
I'm completely blown away because the clouds
with the light in there and the light on, you can kind of see that like there's still like more light coming out of here because there's less pumpkin material in there to hold it back.
Right, and that's where the light's the strongest. But the clouds look like clouds of steam or smoke rolling so beautifully, and that's just what a absolute tough. Anyway, I'm like, I don't know how the hell I would do that. It's like opposite of my brain. I think the other direction.
It's tough. Yeah, it's exactly that. Like if you were to carve this in your style, you would be moving the exact opposite direction of how much material you're losing.
100%. Yeah. So that black part of the main column, the thing's writing on there, would be really deep into the thing versus the surface of it. Like that whole tower is at the surface.
Yep. And so, the darkest you're going to get is by not touching anything, because that's what the skin itself is going to hold everything back.
So cool.
So, like, the darkest I can get with my grays on this is just to very carefully remove as much skin as I can and just pray that it's magically thicker where I want it to be. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But having the right design helps. Struggling with the wrong design is going to be a problem, but yeah, it's fun just trying to challenge myself and see what works and what doesn't work and how I can try to get better at realism.
And the Funkin ones are, like you said, they're thicker, but are they uniform? I mean, are they like made in a factory to the point, or are each one slightly different?
Yeah, they're all slightly different. So they each have like different molds. So like this is a Boland model Funkin. It's like kind of like the biggest one I've worked on. It's pretty smooth.
Pretty awesome.
It's nice because it doesn't have a lot of deep ridges in it, so I can kind of put my pattern over the top of it. My pattern, I just mean I print out photographs and I carve through them to get my proportions. Okay. Once the basic proportions are on there, I can kind of go in and just play with the light until I get it to look the way I want it to.
Okay.
But yeah, these come in all different shapes and sizes, but they have specific models. So like this is a model of Funkin. This one that I'm working on for Gizmo is just kind of like a little shorter guy that looks more like a real pumpkin. And then here, Fester Adams, for example, is on its own little tiny little model of Funkin. But
that hole in the back is all the light. That's the light, the bulb going in, right?
I feel like every kind of pumpkin artist that works in the foam pumpkins I've met or talked with, they all have their own little way of doing things. This is just the thing that I made up that makes sense. But I just put a little light in there, pop it in, and then
that's all you need.
That's so cool.
And you put that in when you start carving it, right? Because you're.
Oh yeah, I have it in there the whole time, so I can see all the light come out, and I can make those choices about how the light is going to affect things. So like this light that's in here right now, this is kind of bright, but if I was to take this out and then find a slightly dimmer bulb, like this one here, I wish I could find more of these really really low lumen lights, because they make such a difference with having more darks to work with, because you can get all of those like
that is amazing,
and the light's not going to like blur anything and take things out of there.
Right, that makes a big difference. Yeah, you can see your details so much better.
Yeah, subtlety of it.
It's nice. Like, and sometimes I'll get really frustrated with a single carve, and then I just put a softer light in there. I'm like, okay, now I have wiggle room to work. Like, here's like another example of like how much like a light can change things. Let's see. I'll use the same low wattage light, and this is Ash, or Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead.
That's my favorite.
It looks like he's in your studio with you.
It's awesome that the
out.
way you caught the almost like that fisheye lens effect of it.
Yeah,
it does. I mean, it helps to have the right photo to work with.
but it's on a surface that's also got a fisheye shape, right? It's like that round,
right?
Convex or concave, whatever. One of the cons.
Convex.
Just one of the things that worked well, and like I don't know, for me, like I love doing portrait work. I've always been drawn to doing portraits. I've been not teasing myself, but trying to teach myself how to branch out from there and learn more how to do other types of realism, like the astronaut stuff I've been doing. But this one is nice because I try to capture a lot more of the room he's in, but it doesn't really distract as much from him. And the shape of the pumpkin, it just kind of gives like a little bleed of light there to like help highlight his cheek. And
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, show you one that I think is one of my favorites is put some of these back real quick. Is a Catwoman. I carved this one almost a year ago. I think maybe last July. It took me about 18 hours to finish.
Wow.
Let's see.
What is your longest, Joey? What's your longest carve? Like the one you spent the most time on?
For the foam pumpkins, that would be this kind of big astronaut that I did.
Okay.
And that one took about 26 hours. And I did that over the course of the entire month of November, like streaming twice a week, sometimes a little bit more. Wow. And I just did it all live on Twitch.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
So let's see. Maneuver. There we go. So this one, I think it just came out really well. Like I like all the different types of texture in it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's layered.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have like the realism on her face with the shadow of the glass that she's like putting her face up against.
Yeah, you can see it.
And then like even like the texture of her vinyl
gloves.
outfit.
And she's wearing vinyl. You can see the vinyl in the damn. Oh my god, that is phenomenal.
And it's funny because like all this is just like cutting out like little.
Yeah, that's all.
That's all.
Just no big deal.
When you put it in the light, it looks so rudimentary. But then the second the light goes off, it's like, yeah, I'm like, what am I looking at? That is so cool.
Well, that's like that Halloween magic that I love it. Like that's always been very special to me, like lighting up a pumpkin around Halloween time, because you have like most artwork lives in the light, and then you have this one medium that just literally shines in the dark, and this becomes this whole new thing that you weren't even expecting, and just you kind of get to hang out in the Halloween glow of like lit artwork.
Yeah. Wow. So cool. All right, now hang on. I asked this question to a lot of people.
Yeah.
You talked about music and kind of being a big part of the things you carve, along with the movies and the cool other specific photos you're using. But do you, first of all, what kind of music do you like, and then do you blast it in your studio while you're carving?
Oh yeah, so like I like a lot of. Like I taught myself to paint listening to Nine Inch Nails, so I kind of like that darker industrial stuff. I really like witch house music, Crystal Castles, Skeletons, stuff that just sounds like it would be background music in a horror movie. Like that's a jam. I mean, I like a broad range of things. Awesome. on Twitch, I was getting back into Twitch. One of the kind of the more magical, kind of cooler. I don't know. One of those things that just happened to be happenstance and just work out really well was I reconnected with a really good friend of mine from my childhood. His name is Kenneth, and he's a DJ on Twitch. And he does a lot of jump wave music and just a lot of really great tracks and beats. And he has been making me custom playlists to play over.
Oh, how cool.
And so I've been honestly listening to a lot of jump wave and like just really great like electronic music while I've been working. like as I've been carving and doing all the things.
I've never heard the word jump wave before, so this is all new to me.
Yeah, it's just it's like the 80s. It's like the 80s is alive, but like with better synth.
Okay.
Better, more
Good description.
Blasphemy. There's no better synth than the 80s.
That's true. That's why we play the 80s. You bring it back. You remind people.
I'm trying to think of some. There's some band. Let's see if I can name one of the bands. There's a band called Kavinsky, I think it's called. There's other ones, but it sounds like all that's like Miami Vice kind of synth wave and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like they're cruising on the Florida beaches or something like that. Yeah. Wow. Let me solo on that one.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, that was the one that I just showed. Look at the detail in there. It's just incredible.
I think the headdress came out really well on this one.
Yeah.
There's parts of this I really like, and parts of this drive me absolutely insane. But I think overall it came out pretty good. You can actually tell she has a thumb.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is perspective. Is the just the way that showing that right eye right there. It's like do you have to look at it at a certain angle all the time, or is it how you position it, or like that's
on
really
a rounded
difficult.
surface? Yeah, it changes.
Yeah,
it totally changes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Here, I'll show you another funny one. So I did this. This is a pumpkin carving I did earlier this year. This was a commission to make the Blue Boy, like the famous painting by Thomas Gansborough.
Yeah.
Trying to recreate it in a pumpkin. And so this is the tiniest portrait I've ever done.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I don't know, his jacket came out pretty rad. And but like you're talking about like the perspective of like the face. And so like if you look at this in the light with this light off, it doesn't look like hardly anything. It just kind of like looks like a little bit of a silhouette.
Yeah.
But the depth I had to go to get his tiny little face in there, like it's funny because it creates this optical illusion where it's pretty much haunted and it just kind of follows you around now. So like if you're looking at it and you like tilt the pumpkin, he like follows you.
Oh, he does. Yeah, because it's so concave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
Nice job, Matt.
Oh, thanks.
Matt knows convex and concave now.
Yeah, I got concave and convex back. I figured it out.
I was taught in high school that concave is a female, convex is the man.
All right. Now we can't be a PG show again. Great.
Sure you can. Sure you can.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, my bad. Okay, my bad.
So now let me ask you another question, Joey.
Yeah,
because I work in October with Rachel Colby and John Davis, who both are really, really talented etchers themselves, and as well as Tom Olton. They say one of the harder things is getting the stencil right when you place it on the pumpkin, because they're doing them on like 100-pounders too. So I feel like the surface is, and that's, they talk about perspective a lot when you're trying to size it and cut it to the right shape, and then I get lost and I just go, oh, you guys are really talented. I don't understand.
I gotta get out of here.
I gotta get back and cut the face and stuff.
I mean, yeah, having your stencil, that's the best way to get your proportions under control. And if you can, I think for me, what I try to do is I just print out like a picture of what I'm trying to work through, like the image itself. And then I'll just kind of like do slash marks around the edges of it and wrap it around and tape it to the pumpkin. So like with this guy, a little gizmo I'm working on, I have it there temporarily to kind of give me a guide as to show where I need to cut next and what I need to cut out. And then it gives me an idea of what the gray is like and how deep I need to go to capture like the different.
Oh, wow. So you just cut it out piece by piece.
Yeah. I just kind of work my way through it slowly but surely. It's tough when you're doing something big and it doesn't fit all on one sheet of paper. And the other thing that's tough about it is that just like using printouts for this kind of thing, maybe there's a better way. I'd like to learn, maybe try some like tattoo artist techniques, like using the carbon paper to see if that can make the marks and learn that style, because that'll be
it's on a round surface. Yeah, because the body's not flat.
I mean, I have I keep up like an image of what I'm as to go by. Like just so I have like something to look at as I'm working in addition to what I'm seeing as I cut. But it's just it's kind of a balancing act. It sucks to try to like start carving one thing and then finish that part of the stencil, then add more stencil to it and make sure that it's in the right spot you want it to.
Yeah.
But so many times, like positioning is everything, because you can get the stencil on there, but then if it's askew or if it's off kilter, it's
that's kind of what I was getting at. That they say like your stencil has to be spot on to get a good piece. And then I hit them with we don't use stencils. And then they go, but you can't paint. Oh, you can't. Touche.
Rats.
Yeah, but you don't do the wheel. You don't.
Yeah. Do you ever do shows, Joe?
What's that?
Do you ever do shows like around Halloween time? Do you ever go to, like I do work at the Chicago Botanic Gardens, and they have a big Halloween show. Do you ever get commissioned to like fly out for the week and be a featured artist or anything?
No, I've never had an opportunity yet. So
well.
Yeah,
let's do that. Damn it.
Someday. I know that this October is going to be kind of crazy, just because like it seems like every public event that I have been involved in leading up to COVID, everyone canceled, rescheduled, canceled again, rescheduled, and now they're all scheduled for October. So like every single weekend I'm doing different expos, and like most of the artwork that I sell during expos is not pumpkins. I'm going to start selling pumpkins this year at the Oddities and Curiosities expos. I have a booth set up in the Portland one that's going to be like October 16th. And then 2 weeks later, they're doing the Seattle one right before Halloween, and I'll be there as well. But most of the stuff I sell for those is like my wire art.
Yeah, Mickey, you got any slides of that? It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, which one was it?
The wire art.
His wire art.
Oh, yeah, I have tons of it.
Talk about a tough couple of words for me to spit out with my accent.
Wire art.
Wire art.
Here's your wire art right here.
Too many R's in those things. Art.
Jeez Louise. Oh, look at that.
Where's my let's see.
Now what kind of wire do you use?
So this is just baling wire. Oh, here, let me get some more light in here. I have like all kinds of like weird ways to get more light. But yeah, this is a baling wire that I wrap and I sculpt, and then I paint, and then I make these mounts behind them by painting them, and I'm doing pour epoxy over them to give them that glossy finish. But it's like having little taxidermy nightmares. Nice little
it's like a unicorn with that crystal.
Yeah.
It's from hell. The unicorn from hell. Come to have fun with you. Wow, that's so cool.
It's
Aaron
nice
earned an iron urn.
It's like it's artwork you can play with too. Like a lot of like sculpture work, you put it in your house and it just set on the wall and it's good to go. But like with having like my wire artwork, it's meant to be played with. It's not fixed, so you can bend these and pose these and reshape them any way you want.
Oh, is there any sort of?
You could twist them around. You can have them hold stuff for you, or you can like flip off your friends and if you want, like all kinds of opportunities there for.
That's awesome. I find my own hand doing that quite a lot.
A lot of them glow in the dark.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh wow!
It looks so pliable. Like
it is, and it's pretty tough too. It's just if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna bend it over and over and over again every single day, you're gonna have some trouble with it, and eventually parts of it are gonna snap. But for the most part, as like a piece of artwork, it's artwork that if you get sick of it in one position, you can play with it with all the horns and different types of heads that I do. If you don't like it in one position, you can play with it and make it different.
Make any position you want. That's so cool.
So now when you're doing, do you always do like animal skulls? Do you ever find yourself doing human skulls or crazy skulls?
Crazy skulls like today's.
Lots of crazy skulls. Crazy skulls all day. Here's a kind of a bigger one. These guys can take all kinds of shapes and sizes that they can come into.
That thing's huge.
Like this one,
huge.
It's pretty big. This is like a nice like conjoined one that I did.
Oh, look at that. You love that word. That's your word of the day. Joey's word of the day is conjoined.
Conjoined.
Yeah. Today you're gonna learn about conjoined.
Hello, children.
Two are better than one.
Wow.
That is cool, man.
That thing had a rough life.
when I was a little kid, I mean, I used to make a lot of my own toys, and I'd steal all my mom's floral wire, and I'd make my own little guys. I would fight tinfoil guys and rip them apart.
Oh, that's awesome.
Decapitate them and stuff like that. And as I got older and I started taking art classes, I realized that a lot of the things I was making as toys as a kid can be considered art if I just made them bigger. And so I started making bigger wire things, and then I did that for a while, and I kind of let everything kind of slide and fall away. And eventually I came back to it when I was trying to get back to my roots like a little bit and figure out what I wanted to make and what I'd be happiest making. And I like weird stuff too. And I remember looking through Instagram and seeing all these cool like things where people were putting skulls on plaques and with antlers and things like that. Like, man, I want one of those, but I'm also very poor. I don't have money to buy that kind of thing. So I'll make my own. And so I made like a simple skull with some antlers with a wire, and then I was like, wow, that looks pretty neat. And then I painted it, and I noticed how all of the paint picked up the texture of the wire, and just I don't know, just kind of stirred something inside of me, and I ran with it, and I've been running with it ever since, making all kinds of things, whether it's not just like skull work, but like little things like let's see, that's around here. Like the hands are one thing, but like trying to teach myself skeleton anatomy by like recreating bats and like.
Oh, that's badass! I love that.
Those,
Yeah.
I might have to have you make me one of those.
You can just like hang out.
Just maybe.
You can hang out with you, or just like. Like
And
yeah.
what do you start with? Do you start with it? I mean, I can see it's. Are you just like running a simple armature first and then wrapping it to almost like the way you would for a clay sculpture, where you would start
I think
with
so, yeah.
and then tight wrap it with the wire to hold the clay. You just sculpt right over that, but you wouldn't want to.
Yeah, you could sculpt right over this. I just find there's something very just beautiful and skeletal about the nature of wire and how it can look if you just leave the wire as itself. I mean, I could add to this and then give it skin and all kinds of extra texture, but by itself, it just has this very bone-like, cool look.
All right, Joey, mount it up. I want it.
Hey, Joey, when you're doing, how many pieces of wire are you working with here? Because it looks like
this one's just one wire. It's one continuous.
Jesus, how?
Some of the pieces have like, if I run out of a spool, I'll go back and wrap it up again. But it's unusual. It's not like out of the question, but most of the time I'll just do one wire the entire time and just keep wrapping and like do loops and like reinforce the loops and then get a little hammer or a needle-nose pliers and grab and twist and bend and then kind of shape.
So just change in direction so that you don't have to. That's impressive, man.
But when you do the teeth and the end of the wing, stuff like that, you're just pinching that and then turning it back, right? Okay, I see.
So it's a loop.
It almost looks like a
loop, and then you wrap back around.
Okay.
Or like for the eyes, like that I've done in all my sculptures, they all have these two dual eyes, like my little signature, because you can't really write your name on these to sign them. So I have like a little spiral thing I use. I call all of this work cryptodermia, and I don't know. It just it's pretty rad, and they look super cool if they're glow in the dark too. So like you have these eerie, ghosty forms of just crazy skeletal stuff. It's another thing that like let's take artwork and bring it into the dark.
Cool, man. I just love bats. They're just the coolest animal.
Yeah, let's see. I think I have
another. So
Harper,
don't get any ideas. I don't want to hear that you texted them off to the side that you wanted. All right.
Yeah, I already got dibs. I hate to say it. I just hit send on. I got dibs.
I got dibs.
We heard that. When you send an email, we knew what you did.
You put in your PayPal passcode.
I did Venmo. Sorry.
This one's like a little bit more monstrous, but it's kind of like a spider jackalope.
Spider jackalope.
Wow.
But,
Matt, I feel like I saw one of those in Arizona. You guys had all kinds of freaky animals.
They're native to Arizona.
Lots of jackalope out here. It's that time of year.
Farm or his winery.
Look at that.
Like I think I come back to similar forms over and over again, but I like doing the spiders. I like doing the bats, octopuses. Like here's an
octopus.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
all those bones.
Here's This is a piece that I haven't finished yet, but I can show you the different parts of how it's going to come together. Let's see. So, all right. So this
Oh
is
wow!
the mount that it's going to go onto, and it's kind of like this underwater, kind of polluted, like long, shiny thing, where it actually has pieces of actual aquarium in there, but they're painted black and they're epoxied over, so they're extra glossy. But I'm going to take this guy and then have like this octopus in there, and just it'll be mounted and like kind of like right over the top of it.
That is
and it will
cool.
be this big kind of looming pollutant octopus, I guess. But I've done a handful of different kinds of them. But
that's super awesome contrast. Nice.
Is that painted or is that the color of the wire?
This is painted. I actually originally had this painted super bright colors. Oh, here, let me grab another piece and show that off real quick. Hold on. I can show you a different octopus that I did.
This is great. This is like actually shopping the Joey Edwards catalog right now.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm shopping.
I'd like to make a bid on that one there, Billy.
Too.
Put me down for 2 of those, and I'll take a.
I made like a whole big body of work, ready to go for Expo season, like in the pre-COVID, and then I had to just box it all up, and it didn't go anywhere.
Oh, so yeah, you have like a whole surplus ready to go. Well,
let's see.
Everybody watching, get out there, stop bidding.
Yeah. So this guy has like little gold eyes. I'm trying to find like good lighting. Overhead lighting kind of washes things out, but
wow.
Yeah, I was trying to make that other one nice and big and pretty like this one is, but I'm also colorblind, so I'm making it up as I go along.
That's a really good. I love that shade of yellow, by the way, Joey.
Yeah, Mickey's colorblind, so that is all green to him.
Well, yeah. In actuality, it's all yellow. I don't know what.
Yellow is yellow.
Yeah, I guess it's piss.
just like Mickey's beer.
Exactly.
Wow,
yeah, I don't see black and white by any means, but like a lot of colors like blend together, so I don't see purple very well, but I can read the label like a MF. So.
That's that's the common thread too. It's like that the color is badass, but you have to read the label. Like you don't. It sucks you don't get to actually enjoy it because it's super vibrant. It looks great.
It does.
Well, it like,
blends well.
I think for me, it's like the hue is turned down. Like if you have like an Instagram post and you turn down the saturation,
the vibrance. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly it.
The chroma glasses.
That is right. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
I even wearing like the chroma glasses, I don't pass any of the Ishimura tests. It's all still just like a damn mystery to me. But I can notice how disgusting green traffic lights are. That was new.
Yeah,
they look white to me normally.
It's really funny that you say that because I mean, growing up, I mean it was actually my like hidden secret about being an artist. Like I always felt like people were gonna think that I was less of an artist because I didn't know how to, I just couldn't recognize two colors, purples and greens. And what happened is I actually got better at them because I learned like what colors people really resonated to. And I'm like, so I know how to mix those colors the best.
Right.
And I do it digitally. So like there's a color I needed a gold and I needed it in CYMK, which is 10, 25, 65, 0.
Wow.
So that's all I would mix. Yeah. Well, that's gold in CYMK. And silver was the same thing. It was just kind of like a kind of a muted blue, or it wasn't a gray, but it had a little bit of blue in there. So so I got really good at that. So when I saw that you were colorblind, that really, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I found out that there's a lot of artists that are colorblind, more than you would expect.
It's I mean, I don't know the difference, but I do know what you mean about like colors.
That's exactly
how
it.
People react to them. Like with a lot of the wire work I did, like when I first started doing like the wire work in earnest and coming up with this body of work, cryptodermia, I had the idea of like I was in a dead end job at the time and I didn't like what I was doing, and I wanted to find a way to like do artwork as a living, because that's the one place that I found like a lot of it filled my heart up. I filled my little spooky heart and all my spooky bones up with the energy that I wanted to have in the world. And so I need to figure out a way to do that. So I'm like, I will learn to tattoo, because I had apprenticed to be a tattoo artist for a while and it just didn't work out. But I was like, okay, maybe try it again. I have to figure out some way that I could pay for this with art. So like maybe, okay, what if I like this whole like skull thing I'm doing. Where can I sell this at? And so I have some friends that were involved in the Evergreen Tattoo Invitational. And they're like, well, you just get a booth and you can try selling your artwork there. And that was a huge, scary step for me. But it was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me as an artist, was to put myself in that environment and to just come into this entirely new space with an entirely new thing that's not native to that spot. But it's a wonderful place where people are there to invest in artwork. They're there to make artwork, and it's all kind of like creepy and spooky, so it works. And so I came up with these folding gallery walls, and I would just hang up all my sculptures there, and I put these bright lights underneath them. So I kind of had like this ossuary of skulls. And from that first show that I did, that was very basic, it was a hefty investment to pay for my booth, but it worked out really well. I sold a good amount of stuff, and that paid for that show, and it allowed me to put down a down payment to pay for my next booth. And so from there, I've gone from Tattoo Expo to Tattoo Expo to Tattoo Expo all throughout the Pacific Northwest, whether it was the Portland Tattoo Expo or the Seattle Tattoo Expo. Actually, I got to do with the pumpkins, the Portland Tattoo Expo. I got to design their Best of Show award in a lot of for the artists to make the awards that they gave to people. And so I made wire stuff for them one year, like all different kind of wire things that they could take home. And then I did it one other year, and I did a pumpkin based on their logo poster for the show. And then I epoxied over the top of the pumpkin and put it on like one of the mounts. So it's like a combination of like the two different types of artwork.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that one there. Yeah.
Oh, that's killer.
Oh, that is cool as hell. Okay. Is it in October?
Yeah. So that one, as far as like the dates for the new shows that are happening, like the first weekend of October is going to be Evergreen. Typically that show takes place in March. And then the next weekend, I'm hoping it's going to be the Portland Tattoo Expo, because the weekend after that, it's going to be the Oddities and Curiosities Expos for me. But yeah, that show always takes place in October.
Wow. Okay. I love these things are coming back. You know,
it's nice.
And there's such a pent up demand for them now at this point. You know, people are just going. It's going to be a renaissance of art.
Renaissance of art.
You got to get that art back.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been such a sad year and a frustrating year, but for us creative types, I think it's really opened a lot of doors. I gotta say.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met 42 amazing people, you know, including these knuckleheads up here, and I've met 40 like amazing artists that I consider to be my friends after this, you know, and it's fun to, especially when we have like, so Joey, when we have you back on, it gets so much easier. Like we dispense with the formalities, and then we're just hanging out, and it's just all laughs. Like, you know, it gets like
right back into it. Yeah.
Yeah. You just get such a comfortable, it's like an old slipper, an old pumpkin slipper.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I love about streaming on Twitch so much, is just like it wasn't just like when I was selling my artwork and I was able to like have my artwork in a personal event, like at an expo, like I'm not just like making this artwork and then putting it up in a gallery where like, or posting online where anyone can see it and to see it objectively just for the art. But when I'm having one of those events, like you're coming into my space that I can create for you, and then you get to meet me with my weird spooky ass self, and I get to show you the things and do the stuff, and it was really magical, and it allowed me to make that kind of personal connection that I never really had before, and it was so wonderful. And in doing that, when all that went away with COVID, I had just spent a lot of money like revamping my entire booth experience. Like I had these folding walls before that I had steadily bought more and more, but I recreated the entire thing. I put in like molding to make it actually like gallery wall with like a little half wall of like spooky what do you call it? Like peel on wallpaper. So it actually looked like walls. And I changed the way that I label things, and I just had this whole new experience ready to go, a whole new body of work. And like, it was literally like the event that I had prepped all this stuff for was going to be 3 days before the lockdown.
Oh,
and so I was ready to go. Everything was packed up to go and take down to Eugene to have this big expo event. And then everything shut down and it was gone. And I just kind of sat on my ass for a little while, drank a lot of beer, played some video games, chilled out. And then it was like, I need to get back there. I need to create. I need to figure out what I want to do. And I still had all this equipment from streaming before. And over my time of being an artist and figuring out ways to be able to like take pictures of my artwork, I've amassed a handful of various other types of like things that would help in that like realm of streaming, like having the right lighting or having like stands that are telescopic and whatnot that you can put things on. And enough. I already have a bunch of spooky shit, so that works. But like having Twitch and meeting people on Twitch, and it was a great way to have my artwork and then be able to like make the things that make me happy, but also share them with the people that make me happy, and like still be able to connect with friends, still be able to like learn the ins and outs of like a new medium of how to express myself at the same time, and embracing others who are doing the same thing, and like finding a community in a sense of like just the fun of working with friends and whatnot, like all online, and like being able to like, rather than like reluctantly stay at home and be like, oh no, I must live in
fear.
Fear. I'm gonna go live a life of refuge. I can get online and just be like, hey, I'm doing a spooky TV show. Come on down, and like just run with it.
So why'd you pick Twitch instead of like, I don't know, Grindr or whatever?
Well, maybe that's not the right thing. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
No, okay, maybe that's the wrong medium. Twitter. Sorry.
Close your app.
No, but are you a big gamer, Joey? I mean, you talk about doing games.
I do love the video games. Yeah.
Okay. So it was a natural for you to go to Twitch.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, that's the misconception about Twitch. The biggest, most popular thing to do on Twitch isn't play video games. It's just to talk and chat about whatever you want and use it as a platform to do whatever you want every time you want.
I didn't know that.
Like within whatever I can fit within the realms of my OBS setup for broadcasting the Twitch, I have complete control over it. I can play video games if I want. I can carve pumpkins if I want. I can have like really silly things where people spend channel points on me to do spooky push-ups. I call it exercising, but like with the X. But because you got to work out your demons. If you got them in you, got to do the thing.
Good point.
But
valid point.
I don't know. It's just it's fun. It's silly. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me productive. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, this
I already had my feet wet with it a little bit, and that's where I gravitated toward when it came to finding that way to make that live connection.
Nice, Mickey. You had something.
I could have done it on a different platform, but Twitch is just the one I went to.
Yeah. I think Paul was going to say that this show was born, from the pandemic, and we just kind of just trying to find creativity in a time when we were kind of locked down and everything, and. But let me ask you, what is one thing that's happened to you through doing this online that you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise?
I mean, I think a lot of it has just been find sanity within the lockdown and dealing with finding a way to be a working artist to the best of my ability. I mean, I have a day job. I work in IT, and so I think that a little bit of technology background helps a little bit to figure out how to make things work when you're reliant on technology to share your artwork with everybody. But I don't know. I just do the best I can. I guess when it comes to that kind of thing.
What do you do in IT? What do you do in IT for like a day job?
I do support, like help desk kind of style stuff, but also kind of like customer service relations. A lot of unplugging things and plugging them back in, and like
try restart the computer.
Yes,
yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty awesome to hear, because Matt and I both are hobbyists. So
exactly.
Other than we might jump. I'll do a bunch of small stuff around my area, and then I'll go to Chicago for a standing gig. But other than that, it's just we're doing this just because we love to do it and talk to other
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, it's just about the community and keeping open channels and learning and meeting other awesome people, because not everybody lives in the same little dot on the map. You got to reach out.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely, yeah. It's amazing how much connection you can have in a remotely disconnected world by finding and forging your own path through this to make these new connections. Like I've never had a chance to talk with you guys before, but like now, like we're all hanging out, we're all have similar interests.
Yeah.
It's great.
We're bros.
Yeah, we're fast friends, man.
You
Yeah.
got the bears. Got the bears.
I think having a beer with
A bear.
somebody virtually has become something where it wasn't anything before. And I mean, I hate virtual anymore. I mean, I'm so tired of it. I could just like, punch my computer sometimes. I'm like, okay, I have another back-to-back Zoom. Or, okay, let's just do that.
Right. That's all.
But,
That's all
but-
meetings
but-
now, right?
But this stuff is fun because it's legit meeting new people, having a beer, talking, having fun. But it's creative types, and I think our brains are slightly different than some, where we're just fascinated by each other's process and beer kind of look. What'd you say, Paul? It's the
Carving oil.
it's carving oil.
Yeah.
Exactly. Helps
Just lubricate the beer a little
lubricate the
bit.
chassis.
Creativity.
It's like a
But-
polar
but-
bear, you know? It's enough to break the ice.
But think about it. Like this show might not have happened if not for the pandemic. It would even be if the pandemic never happened, we could never do this. It would be so hard to convince people to come online every week and let's do a
Right.
show. And they're like, oh, well, I don't do everything went online. So we're like, we're going to be doing this anyway. So let's make a show out of it. And
You're doing this every week, anyways.
right.
It's the
There's
only
so
way my
many
wife
artists
will let me
doing
do
so
it.
many great things on Twitch. And like treating it as like this new medium. It's crazy. Like with green screens and just it's I don't know. I can't speak enough positive things about like.
You know what,
that
Joey?
environment.
We actually have a Twitch channel, and we just don't pay any. We don't really do anything with it. We're just hoping, it just catches lightning in a jar.
Yeah. At this point, we just hope nobody spams it, which has been already been happening today. So
Okay, well, we got
Oh,
that.
beat the ass.
yeah, so we have a spammer from Russia. So thank you. Shout out to you.
Shout out
yeah.
shout out for
Spitania.
Paul's so American.
I am. I'm apple pie.
Stolichnaya.
Paul,
Yeah,
tell him
that.
tell him about Massachusetts.
Oh, what?
You're very patriotic. Tell him about Boston and
Well,
Massachusetts.
here's a little known fact. Everybody likes to laugh at my accent, but did you know it's actually the original accent? And if it wasn't for our accent, we would all be speaking Quaker. Do you remember what Quaker was? How art thou? That shit. Good
Thank you.
evening. How art thou? Welcome to Carvers and the Creators. So you're welcome, America. All right.
Thank you.
We had the first accent. We were here first.
He has a strong accent and
So angry.
it's like he's ready to fight. It's that fighting nature. that comes out of Boston.
Listen, I'm in my 40s. My back goes out when I think about fighting. I don't want to fight. I don't even like getting worked up. I just find it hilarious because everybody gets worked up sarcastically because they want to have you want to beat each other down because you love each other so much. It's like you're telling the worst jokes to each other. And then it's just like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And some people really don't get that humor.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Their
Well,
feelings get hurt fast.
Paul, what's the cure for hypertension? A triple IPA.
Oh,
great.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel good.
Tension reliever.
It does sting the nostrils a bit. I got a little bit of a scratchy throat like I've been drinking moonshine, but
Can you chew your words?
I can trip over them. I'm not sure if I can chew them. I can certainly fall all over them.
Yeah, Christina wanted to know about your tools.
Christina.
What tools do you work with?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a-
We know Christina. All right.
Miss
I do,
Patton.
So for like the tools I use, like I have this is my pal Bucky up here. This is just a
Look at this guy.
freaking bucket that I put some noise canceling stuff inside of. I suspend my Dremel from that, and I have it literally hooked up to those buttons that you put your Christmas tree on. And
okay. Oh, the on. I got that button. That's a good one.
there.
That is serious control right there.
That way. There we go. Yeah. So there's my lights for overhead lighting, and then also turning the Dremel on and off. So I have like a kind of like a real makeshift foot pedal. Nothing super fancy, but
that's pretty fancy.
Do you use any hand tools, or is it all Dremel?
I use like X-Acto blades and like different shapes on those. Like when I'm carving real pumpkins, because I love to carve, still love real pumpkins, but when out of season, you can only do so much.
Yeah, right.
Unless like you're like Ray, and then you buy pumpkins and keep them in the freezer all year and just keep bringing them out. But like the speedball linoleum cutter, like this guy is
that's a good
one.
You can use that on those, huh?
Oh yeah, and so like this one, it's really handy. It doesn't work as well on foam pumpkins as it works for a real pumpkin, but it will still allow you to get like some of like these like little lighter cuts to show like little lines of hair if you could just get it just right and take out like just the right amount of stuff. But otherwise, I use just X-Acto blades and all of the tiniest bits that I can find, all different kinds of shapes and things like that, and I'll experiment. Sometimes I'll mess them up and try to make my own, but yeah.
You're a fan of the old air can as well, like I am.
Yeah.
Oh, I am. Yep. Boop, boop, boop.
So what kind of
I do this
tips do you have?
every now and then I'll like piss my kids off and be like, and just like over the end of it.
Just don't turn it upside down and like ice them. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
Hey, have you ever tried chewing on it? Never like.
Have you ever chewing on it?
You ever see that episode of Intervention?
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, that one.
Walking on sunshine.
Wow.
He does one of these.
Yes. Holy moly! Yeah.
Let's go ahead and destroy my lips. You know.
Oh yeah.
I can't even pay attention. There's no way I could get addicted to something. I lose interest in things like 10 seconds later. Like what's our subject tonight?
Heroin.
Crazy skulls. Crazy skulls.
Crazy skulls.
Crazy skull.
Crazy skulls or mogwais? That was my choice. I think I chose wrongly. I should have went mogwai.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine.
Just don't get them wet. Is what I understand.
Yeah, feed them after midnight. You'll be fine.
After midnight. Okay. You can get them wet after midnight. Is that right?
Bing bong.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and
So
it's
we're 75 minutes into the show already. Can you believe it? 1 hour, 15 minutes. And so Joey, did we say that it would go fast? Did we lie?
Yeah.
We lied.
You lied.
I think we just started, didn't we?
So let's go. Let's see what Paul is.
Shit. Really good.
Let's go to Matt and see what he is doing.
All right, my little friend here is starting to become a skull.
Yeah.
He's gonna have one eye slightly larger than the other because he's crazy.
That's right.
Bananas, dude.
And he's also gonna have a shifted jaw, like some teeth over here, some teeth over here. So he's gonna, he's crazy. And he's also upside down. This is the top of it right here. So that's how crazy he is.
That guy's nuts, dude.
Did I mention he's crazy?
Pumpkin. Paul, what do you got? Yeah.
You know me. I'm like a whole lot of not even where I need to be at this point in the show, but
you have
I'll
such
figure
a
it
way with gums.
Yeah. It's like he has an underbite. It's so cool.
Well, he's gonna have the underbite. He's gonna have the
awesome.
But
so is it because he's
like
crazy?
That's like a butternut, right?
Yeah, that's a butternut squash.
How does that in compared to carving on a pumpkin? Like how does that feel and how does that work as a medium?
We've talked about it. We were so bummed out when Halloween came this year because we had to switch over to pumpkin. This is the ultimate carving. Oh, it's so the way they're shaped. Not so much this one, but let me turn it around. So they all have that bell shape.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to the smaller, wherever the smaller part of the bell is, that's solid. So if you play it right and you give it a bigger dome, your teeth work and tongue work, whatever you choose to do on that solid part, you can go all the way to the back skin. Like
Yeah.
It's like carving stone. There's no
solid. Yeah. All the way
it's
through.
solid. I shouldn't say it's like carving stone because it's really easy to work with the tools. I've broken a couple tools because I'm lazy and I don't switch them out. Like you should kind of give them a break. And
sure, yeah.
The material is the materials. It's firmer than pumpkin. It's not as moist as pumpkin. It lasts 10 times longer than pumpkin.
Oh yeah.
I still have the one, the zombie that you showed at the beginning there. That's still in my fridge. I could have pulled that thing out and worked on it tonight.
That's so amazing. You can put things away and come back to them. I never even thought that
it's only with that though, that the butternut for whatever reason is resilient. And there's a hybrid between a kaboka and a butternut. It's like a Japanese squash. And I forget the name all the time, but it's literally a hybrid between what Matt is doing and what I'm doing. And they last forever. People will pick them that are going to make stews and whatnot, and they'll save them for 6-7 months, and they don't go bad.
Wow.
And then you can just cut right into them.
Yeah.
So someday,
they're super thick. I think that's the beauty. Joey, you talked about like some of them being thicker than others, and the better ones are thicker. It's the same way with some of these squashes. That if you get one that's super like heavier than it should be, and you look at it, it's really dense, and you can't, when you squeeze it just even slightly, you can't feel any give at all. Then you know it's really thick. But yeah, it's the thickness is the king. And you
don't need to do any kind of initial prep on them besides like kind of skinning them, right? Like you don't, like with a normal pumpkin for like a pumpkin carving, I can control the amount of like the thickness of the walls by gutting it like a traditional jack-o'-lantern, getting all the seeds out, which is another amazing thing about pumpkins is having pumpkin seeds because they get to eat them. But you can but you don't have to clean out a butternut squash. You just kind of carve into it. Or do you put anything, like I saw like some pictures of you guys when you had Ray on here, and he had had cut out the back of it so you can get to the inside of it. Was that just to get details of the front side of the carve from the back?
Well, what Ray does is Ray uses potatoes for eyes in that instance. So he wanted to open the back to get pieces to bring to the front, which were the gills.
Okay.
So you need, you pull it from wherever you can't see it. So as long as, and he likes to have access to the back to put in the eyes and all the cool things that he does gives him an option to go front and back.
Yeah.
But in regards to removing the seeds from this, it's the same as a pumpkin. Our goal is to try not to bust through as much as possible. So where you need to get a nice clean surface so you can have that you can get all your gradients and you can really see the light. We're just trying to get as close to the middle as possible without busting through so that our downlight plays that trick like you're looking for from the light from inside out. We're trying to do it from the outside in.
Totally,
so that's kind of the fun part is sometimes now I've gotten a little, I'm not as hard on myself as I was, but I would always try not to bust through, because once you get to the center, then the mold happens inside, then it gets squishy, and you know how it is when they collapse on themselves.
But if you over Halloween, I messed around a little bit, and like I made like a skull, and I did like this really weird cat that was based off a classic Halloween thing that came out just really strange. A couple skulls actually, but I trying to get in and trying to get those deep grooves behind like the molars in the back, and to get in depth. I like the pumpkins I was using just weren't great quality, or they weren't super thick, and so it immediately just went right into the center. But it looks like you can get such amazing depth on those guys.
Really good. I mean, these are fun to play with too. We started, Matt and I were doing this as practice for the season.
Yeah.
You could do it on apples, potatoes, sweet potatoes, anything that has a thick, meaty outside, whatever they call it. But this, you can't beat these for carving.
They're
the best. I wish they grew them. I wish there was 120-pound butternut squash.
Yeah, or 120-pound kabocha. If you had a really giant kabocha, I mean, they're miles thick and they're really detailed. Like either one of these things, or that hybrid. I mean, that trumps to me. That's almost as the only thing I can say would probably be close to it was what's that red squash?
The
Hubbard, the red Hubbard. But those are really thick, really fine grain, like beautiful to carve, easy to carve.
Blue Hubbard. We can get big blue Hubbards here.
Blue Hubbards too, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Apparently the big red Hubbards are more of a European thing, but you can get smaller ones that are the size of butternut squashes here. and they're really cool to carve. It's such a dark orange meat. It's super cool.
So in other words, we are total pumpkin snobs.
Yeah, we're nerds.
Yeah, they're the beat. That's outstanding. When I was in college, one of the things I made, because I have a dual major. I went to the University of Oregon, and I just spent enough time there to be a doctor. But instead of like becoming a doctor, I just took a bunch of freaking art classes, and I got a dual major in art. I did like digital art, focusing in video, which I think has helped with like thinking about how to do like stream setups and things like that. Yeah, but also, but physical sculpture was the other half of that dual major. And that was with an emphasis of welding and metal sculpture. And so one of the things that I made was I recreated that fence from The Nightmare Before Christmas to mount jack-o'-lanterns on. Nice. And so I've had that. I got my different houses. I just can't take it with me. It's a hell of a thing to travel with. But I just think that having like the type of work that you guys do, having these amazing little skulls in these tiny little gourds just jacking on there, like, oh, that looks so good on this little fence post.
Well, I mean, maybe there's a collaboration in the future.
Yeah, we're talking collab. I'm hearing collab here.
We can provide you with tons of butternut squash, all carved up.
All you can eat.
All you can eat.
Gets sponsored by some local farms.
Oh, I've been trying.
You know what's funny is like the ones I really would love to get. There's the ones I get. Luckily, I've got a connection. Good friends of mine that are in produce, and they get it from Mexico, and I'm just like wanting to go down to the fields in Mexico and just pick my own ones off the. That's like I literally have that recurring dream. I'm like going and picking my own damn. Like no, that one right there, that one that looks like an orca, whatever, right? I just anyway, it's
that's such a common thing for Halloween time to go pick your pumpkin out of the pumpkin patch.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Do that with the butternuts.
Yeah, same with butternut. Yeah.
What are you doing here? Do I pay you?
And you can do that year round, so
So awesome.
Yeah. So while we don't have much time left in the show, but I definitely wanted to, Joey's actually showed us a lot of the things in my deck that, in real time that I had, but there are some other things that I wanted to make mention of. So let me go to it here. I mean, gosh. Just the
look at that, huh?
Incredible. Wow. Yeah, that's right. It's just created such a great show.
That's such a beautiful moment from that show, and I was just happy to try to carve it. Capture it.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm so instantly.
Nice, David Bowie.
Oh yeah.
That is the only design that I've carved twice. Like I had it, I made the first one, and then it sold, and then someone's like, "Oh, I want it." I'm like, "Okay, I'll try to carve it again." And that's where I learned that I don't know, like with the foam pumpkins, I can't make these as stencils and just reproduce the same thing over and over again. Every one of these is a unique painting.
Yeah.
And so even like the difference in like how much I learned in technique and just making it up as I went along, like using the exact same stencil, the two different carves came out so different. But that one was so much more detailed than the first one.
Wow.
And like all these designs that I make, I'll use Photoshop, and what I'll do is I'll get like maybe 16 to 20 different photos, as many as necessary, and I'll composite them together into like an original image that like I haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. And then
that's smart.
Something that I carve. Like even this gizmo that I'm working on now, that's like this is made out of like 5 different gizmos. So like this exact picture isn't out of like the movie or anything like that. I just stole his hand, I took his ear, I took his eyeball, and pieced it all together, then shoved it all together on a photo, and then now I carved through it, and it looks like it all was supposed to be there.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Very cool.
That's awesome. And speaking of craft beer, Ninkasi Brewing.
Dawn of the Red.
Yeah, I won a fire pit for doing that. That was awesome. Like, so with that one, Ninkasi Brewery is local to Eugene, and they had this Halloween contest where they had 2 contests. They had one where you can carve a pumpkin, or you can like color in this like placemat, like a coloring kind of book looking thing. And so they gave you stencils of like their pumpkins that you could use. And I was like, I'm just going to carve the placemat. So I just ran with it. That took 12 hours to carve. And, I won, which was awesome. And I got this really cool fire pit from them, because I don't know if you've seen Ninkasi, like the actual brewery right there, but they have such amazing metal work all throughout that entire building, all of the Whitaker area. But this really cool modular fire pit it's made by the artist who does all their metal work there too.
Oh,
totally worth
super cool.
12 hours of pumpkin carving.
Yeah, that's a good trade.
It's very impressive. Jason Voorhees.
Yeah,
Never heard
that's the one that's the one I traded for the light thing in the vacuum.
Yeah, we saw this one earlier, but I mean, like this picture doesn't do justice to what you showed earlier. You saw all angles of it. I mean, like to see the glove and stuff like that. I didn't even recognize that from this picture. So it's like, I mean, just amazing work. Ack.
Yeah.
Ack.
Eric the actor.
Yeah, that I was hoping that you would say that. Eric the actor. We showed the tattoo expo.
Yeah.
And this is crazy.
Oh wow.
That was when I first started streaming on Twitch. That was the last one I carved because I kind of I started with the wire work all summer long and then kind of filtered into the pumpkin work. But and that model of Funkin is the same kind that Catwoman's on. It's the Bolin kind of Funkins.
Oh.
You get a sponsorship for them or something.
Yeah,
yes.
I was gonna say.
Those things are hard to find and they're expensive too. So the secret to getting Funkins is just wait till Black Friday when they can't sell them anymore. They have to get rid of them at like 70% off.
Or keep doing what you're doing, carving them.
Veteran tricks.
They come to you and say, "Would you help us sell these things?"
Yes.
I reached out
That'll
to them once,
happen.
and they're
Believe
like,
me.
"Oh, tell us what you do." And then that was like the end of the conversation after I sent them stuff. So who knows what's happening?
Well, Funkin', if you're listening, stop screwing up. All right.
They are.
Listen to both here.
Roseanne and Funkins are listening, and both of you are listening.
Dan loves this show.
Yeah.
She was going to be on, but she had a prior commitment.
Yeah,
That's
she's
a
singing
real
the national anthem at a.
That was it. She was
Arizona.
singing the national
Yes.
anthem anymore.
Yeah.
Real
Damn
pumpkin, unlike the foam pumpkins, have just this different magical color to them that just
Yes.
it's so cool.
Yeah. Do you have a preference? I mean, like, if you could carve real versus Funkins, I mean, you're so good at the Funkins. What would you pick?
I use a different tool set for both. I mean, the common tools are going to be like just having like an X-Acto blade handy. And so with a real pumpkin, because they're so much softer than the foam is, I can just kind of gradually scrape away and to bring out different shading techniques and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so they each have their own quirks and bells and whistles with them. Like with this last year, I did Leahy from Trailer Park Boys as a tribute for him.
Yeah.
And I made it a liquor pumpkin where you could fill the pumpkin up with liquor and it had a spout in the side of it too. And I filled it with Canadian whiskey when I was done. And was drinking out of it.
Super cool.
Nice. How much for 3 of those? I'm looking for Christmas.
That was fun. I don't know. Like I guess I'm going to end up with the stuff in my mouth one way or the other, and I guess I prefer to have pumpkin in my mouth when I'm
Right. Right. Then foam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Always better. Always better.
So
It's a lot
so
quieter working on a
which
real pumpkin.
which Gene Wilder movie is this?
Oh, that's from
Young Frankenstein.
Okay, hey, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
Oh, I knew you.
Yeah,
were setting us up.
totally set you
I
up.
knew you were setting us up. I'm like,
But I mean,
you just won in the game of life.
Abby Normal.
yeah.
That's the brain he got. Abby.
Now
Abby
I popped huge for this one. I know you guys don't know what this is, but it's free real estate. And yes, Joey and I are in on this inside joke. This is from Tim and Eric.
Tim and Eric.
That's like the embodiment of every porch during like October. It's free real estate.
That's it. And McFrasley. Yes, Jim Booney. It's free real estate.
Matt, are we the only two that don't know about this?
No, I know Tim and Eric.
Oh man, I'm the only one.
But this is a deep cut. This is a very deep cut.
Yeah, this is you got to watch the seasons and then watch them again and then you catch this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like with it's funny like with carving like real pumpkins, like since they do rot, I think doing memes on them is like the perfect thing to carve on a real pumpkin.
Oh,
yeah.
Rot real quick, anyways.
It gets a huge reaction, I'm sure. So then, going into the wire work, I mean, you put electronics in it. I saw that you also like had some of the hands holding things, which was like super awesome.
You can do whatever you want with them. You can have them hold stuff, or you can have. I like to like put a lot of coats of glow in the dark paint on them, so even in the darkness, they have like that weird sheen to them. That I think I might be able to show you that. Let me grab a little setup here. Hold on.
The Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen.
Tiger blood.
You drink all my beer.
Tiger.
Tiger style.
Well, I want him to have a baseball and then show all the pitching grips. There you go.
Nice. That would be sweet.
That'd be pretty cool, huh? A little collection of that.
Well, Mickey, maybe you should buy one.
Maybe you should invest.
What I know from the artists is we never get any of them that we ask for. Like you guys have been asking for all these things, and no one will give it to us. So I'm not even going to ask.
Not from Ron, if you're listening, Ron.
Ron, he's going to the mailbox right now to send this to me.
Well, I typically keep this like little fluorescent, like not magnifying glass, but a little flashlight with me. I don't know what I do with it, but this one glows in the dark. It's just like little tiny hands.
Oh, cool.
And this is just like a little tiny guy. I tried to make smaller pieces of my cryptodermia artwork so that it would have like a smaller like price point, I guess, to bring in. So I have more variety of the types of artwork.
Oh, look at that.
To show. And so with these little guys, like it's just they have little magnets on the back, and so that you can kind of like stick them to like a fridge or your car, or use credit card and whatnot. But then I just kind of do like a little dry brush on them to make them look like little zombie hands. And then
that is killer.
It's the same thing. You can still mix it up and bend it.
I love how fluid. That's just fluid. I mean, it's wire too, so I expect you any moment now to go, that freaking thing stabbed me. But it's not. It's so soft.
I think I've just developed a life of calluses, like with all of my emotions.
I got the toughest hands in Oregon.
Oh yes,
that'd be a cool thing to hold your car keys on. It'll like hold on to.
Seriously,
right?
Yeah, perfect.
Super badass.
Hey, what's going on with the demonic Pikachu over that shoulder?
See, that's not mine, but that's one of my favorite possessions.
It's pretty cool, man.
Very, very good friend of mine. His name is Guy.
Oh, Jesus, it's a crocheted Pikachu.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
This wonderful hat of Mimichu. And so you could just, when I would go around and play Pokemon Go, I could actually look like my character.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Do kids walk up with their phones and just try to like Pokeball you?
If you're not watching It's Guy on Twitch, you are missing out because he needs to make stuff like this, but he just plays video games and he has he's a witch when it comes to green screen. He's hilarious.
That's right.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's that. So that's not Pikachu. That's the other guy, right? The crazy Pikachu or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's just like a weird vampire.
My kids would be horrified when you're talking about Pokemon.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk about it.
Dad, it's not Pokemon. It's like
that one. Yeah, that one glows in the dark too. So like the front side of the all of the white paint on that doubles as glow in the dark paint. So if you just hit it with like a little bit of fluorescent light, it just has this whole crazy spooky ambiance. And I use like extra strength glow in the dark paint, so it will actually like if you charge it up, it'll light up the whole room.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Maybe not the whole room, but enough to like if you don't know it's there, it's gonna probably keep you up at night when you look over it. You're like, it's happening.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. I mean, so many cool, just outrageous. I mean, we could spend another hour on this, but let me look through this. Yeah, we'll definitely bring it back because I mean, like all of this stuff is just so amazing. The colors are just fantastic. And it's like, and I think you showed this one earlier, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh no, that one's a funny one actually. So that was a commission that I did for someone, and they paid me like a part of it, and then ghosted me for 3 years now. So like that's sitting in a box.
Well,
okay.
I don't know what the second half of it is, but I'd be willing to step in.
It's available.
That second half of the payment.
Paul, it's available.
I am available. I am always in the market for art. I just can't get anybody to sell me anything.
I just Venmoed him.
Yeah, and so with that, like the bigger skeletal stuff like that hangs on a hook, so you can actually take it off of the mount and then like play with it.
Oh,
like
cool.
a little three-headed ghost, bloody skeleton chicken, if you want. Like, I taught myself so much about bird skeletons by making that particular piece. Like, I had no idea their sternums were so wild looking. I just had never looked and like studied bird anatomy before, but
they have
a whole series of kind of
breasts.
stuff like that. Like just taught me how to like copying like the skeletal structure and like trying to emulate every single bone, but like by wrapping it together and trying to do that with like one piece of wire as much as I can.
Yeah. Wow.
That's like a puzzle. It's like every piece I've done like that has just been this really wild, intricate puzzle.
It's crazy that you can do it with one wire. I'm so
Yeah,
impressed.
that blows me away. I thought these were like 20 wires, like the whole time.
All I can think of is I wrapped
just like the cheapest wire you can possibly buy. It's like this industrial grade baling wire. Looks like this stuff.
Say that, Joe. It affects the price. It's very expensive, exclusive wire from outer space.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, you can only get it in one place.
Edit that part out and post.
If you cut it, it explodes. That's why I do it all in one piece.
Right.
But yeah, like with the wire, it's just like you just drop it on the ground, and then you bring it up, and then you start wrapping. You make like a big bundle. Huh? It's like just like drawing. It's like making like a physical scribble.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I like that.
A little bit of body on there. And by body, I just mean like a lump of like random wire that'll probably cut you if you're not looking at it right. And then you just start doing like loops, and you can wrap around and like get more loops, and you can weave them through. And then
wow.
We'll make like a little,
Matt, I don't know
like a little alien hand.
This is Sistine Chapel. No.
But yeah, and then let's see.
Wow.
There's like pieces of spider webs stuck in this old wire. That's fine.
That gives it character.
It gives it character, yeah. And then you just go up and you give it more texture. Usually I use like a little bit thicker gloves for this stuff just because the wire is filthy, but
yeah.
Yeah, Joe, everybody's commented on your muscular forearms now because you just ripping wire around like it's nothing.
This goes back to his IT days.
That's what it is. Yeah, hitting that keyboard.
Oh, my experience with cable management, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and then it's just doing layers and layers and wraps, and then getting them to where you want them to be. And you, after a while, you just end up with these more common shapes, and you bend it and you twist it and you fight with it, and then it just slowly. I just love the way that how much emotion that like these kind of structures can show and like convey.
That is
like,
awesome.
You have like this writhing hand.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the articulation is when you can see the motion in the hand in a still state, it's so cool.
Oh yeah, and like I know like some the clay artists would like stop here and then they'd start wrapping over with their own like different polymers or different types of clay and things like that. But I don't know. For me, it's just like it's getting these textures up, getting to play with these forms, and just having fun, just making up monsters as you go along. I'm sure it's very similar to how you guys are like making monsters up in the pumpkins. But
yeah, I got to tell you what, when we were talking about that ASMR. You could do that with this wire thing. It's
it's true.
Mesmerizing. I'm just in there like,
yeah, it kind of comes out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden you start having like these rich forms, and then this is only one part of the process. Like typically with a body of cryptodermia, what I'll do is I will just spend a month just making wire stuff. I'll just make wire. I'll make a couple of hands. I'll make some octopuses. I'll have some fun and just make whatever, and then I will take a break from making wire stuff, and then I'll just do a bunch of abstract paintings in like layering and playing with paint and getting like those different distressed effects. And then I can do epoxy pour, and then I can come back and then I can match up the different pieces to the future mounts and find like the right combinations, and then go back and like paint the wire artwork and like put that together.
Wow, so funny. It's so funny how many of us cannot sit still.
Yeah.
I see.
I have ADD, and the only thing that allows
the ADD, you get sick of one thing, but you're like, oh, look, there's something over there that interests me. Let me dive into that. It's such a cool feeling because then eventually you circle back.
Oh yeah, and like
look where I am with this.
Like one medium, and then jumping to another, you take what you learn from one thing that you were messing around with, and all of a sudden you're applying it in another thing you never even thought you would have had an idea had you not like crossed those barriers and started doing that kind of thing.
So what you just mashed together is a hand, and I can see that beautifully. And it's like, and this was what, 10 seconds. So our viewers just got to witness the birth of a nation. Or what do you? Thank you, Mixed Brazzle Stash. Yeah, 31 seconds, $500. Let's do it. I mean, but you know what? Honestly, it just we started out. You were carving Gizmo. We're carving these things, and then now we're on a completely new medium. It's just mind-boggling that and you know, you're taking nothing and making it into something versus subtracting. Anyway, it's
a great talent, man.
Cool stuff.
Like with a couple of these wire pieces I made last year, I was taking like gauze. Like I take my tools and I wrap them with gauze, but then I will wrap that and work it into the wire. And then like once it's inside there, like set on fire a little bit, and then paint it all black and then dry brush it. It brings out all the texture and makes it look like you have this ragged hand that's just like halfway made of bandages. And what mother doesn't want to bring that home, you know?
You know, and that's not something you can find on YouTube. That's you can't find how to distress it like that. You really got to figure that one out. Wow, amazing work, Joey. Pleasure to watch you work.
Yeah.
Oh man, thanks for checking me out, man.
Oh, of course. You know, and if you want to see Joey, please go to his Instagram. Is there anywhere else that we can see you or buy your work or?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you. Yeah, I mean, so I have my website has basically my complete portfolio of all of the different work I do. I update it consistently because it's like my one landing board for everything that I do. And so that is just edwardsartanddesign.com. And otherwise, if you go to Instagram and then look at my bio there, I have a all my links button, and that will take you to all the things. But otherwise, throughout like a lot of social media, you can find me like at Joey Edwards, but with 3s instead of E's, because like a long time ago I used that because I thought it looked cool, and I haven't been able to get away from it since.
I like it.
And some son of a bitch out there, actual Joey Edwards, took all the Joey Edwardses, and I'm gonna find him.
That guy sucks. That guy can't do what you can do, so screw him.
Fun little fact, Joey. My entire family's last name is Edwards. We're
oh,
from
really?
England. Yeah. Woo. Look at that. So we're basically cousins. So
send me your pieces of art, is what you're saying.
Okay, there we go. Well, we got to keep it in the family, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, I'm not muted.
So that is the show for today. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Yes, we're going strong on Twitch.
We got like 2 followers.
Get on there. I'll raid you.
Come on, Joey, help us out.
Me and Matt. Twitch. Nikki still doesn't even follow us.
We're huge in the Ukraine. So check us out. Matt, did you have anything that you want to promote?
Yeah, there's this guy Joey Edwards with the 3s. Follow him. And yeah, absolutely, dude. Yeah, I am super impressed by your abilities, Joey, and so glad you came on with us today. Couldn't be happier. This was just awesome, and I'm gonna say it before you two do, but we want you back on. Come around time that Halloween is on, and we'll have you partake in the wheel with us, one way or the other.
No, I'd love
even if you're edgy.
Wait a minute. What if it's a wire wheel?
Like, it is such an honor to be on here and to be talking to you guys and like in the industry and stuff like that too. Like, I know like with pumpkin carving and like getting to like a certain like there's no like clear path of like success with this type of artistic medium. And like the paths that do exist, like for recognition or to get your work out there and get it recognized. Like it seems like it's all has to do with the style of carving that you guys do. So in some sense, like I know this is kind of silly, I always kind of felt like less than because I don't know how to carve like the 3D style structure, but I do love that Halloween magic you get out of playing with light, and it just makes me so I don't know, I love it. And so that's where I'm pushing this. And I haven't seen a whole lot of other people do it. There's some amazing other artists that work in the very similar mediums that I do. Like if you haven't already have him on your radar, Scooby-Doo Drew on Instagram. He is
Scooby-Doo Drew.
Yeah, he's great. He's man. I'm just trying to keep up with that guy when it comes to.
I'll tell you what, buddy. Behind the scenes, I know a lot of the really good etchers in the scene, and everybody points to you as one of their favorites. So,
that's so weird. Like it's just, I don't see any of that. I just
accept and move on, Joey. Accept and move on. That's what they say.
And it's nice to be able to be seen, I guess. But I don't know. I'm just doing the best I can, trying to keep up with everybody else and push this medium appreciated or push it forward. Because like you can have like a billion different painters out there, but every one of them has their own style they can bring to it. And I hope that like the style that I'm doing with pumpkin carving is standing out as like its own thing. Hopefully someday. That's the goal.
Yep.
That's what
100%. It's well said, actually. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so we will be back next Thursday with another Carvers and Creators, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. This has been outstanding, Joey. We can't wait to have you back. And also, we can put on the wheel Wired, because
Wired.
That's a good one right there, Wired.
Can we put on stitches below it?
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. A vast amount of cut hands.
Remember that one time we spun the wheel?
So thank you again, Joey. For Matt Harper and Paul Dever, this is Carvers and Creators. We will see you next Thursday. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.